Hi, Adeline. It's nice speaking with you. Can you give us some background about Love Love Tennis?
Sure, I'd love to. I'm glad you asked the question. Actually, it all started with I Love My Doubles Partner. It was a book that I wrote that was about being loving with your doubles partner and just being kind to them to bring out the best in them and also to make the, tennis most fun for you too. But honestly, Love Love Tennis was born out of also looking cute on the court. I wanted to design something juicy and sexy and where you felt comfortable but you looked great, and something for a more mature body as well, a more shapely body perhaps, not just some of the stuff that was on the market was kind of for ladies that are a little bit youthful and skinny and young.
And can you tell us a little bit about the Monroe collection?
Yes, well, I wanted to design a dress that embraced my curvaceousness, made me feel sexy, and made the parts of my body that I like show more and hide the parts of my body that I didn't like as well. So I don't know how to say it, but for instance, my arms, they're a little bit wider than, in comparison to the rest of my body. So for the Monroe dress, I did a little cap sleeve that cut off a little bit of my shoulder, made my arms look a little thinner. I did a very deep scoop neck, which was kind of like a lift.
Yes.
It made them look higher because I have large chest, and sometimes if I wear a closed top like I'm wearing right now, it makes them look a little bit lower. Whereas if you cut out this part of the chest, the boobs look higher. And then I added some ruching detail, the sewing where it's like sheared together, and that the seam was in a half moon. So let's say my waist is here, the seam was a couple inches in. And so what ended up, it made me look even more like hourglass figure, So at the bottom of that dress, I added a little ruffling, like a couple inches. So the dress kind of comes down like an hourglass, and then there's a couple inches of ruffle at the bottom. So I called it the Monroe because Marilyn Monroe, she was, I think, a size 6 or 8. She wasn't a tiny woman, but she embraced her curves and her beauty, and she just, I don't know, she was sexy. She wasn't tiny, but she was voluptuous and gorgeous. I wanted that dress to be like that. On the back of the dress, I added a 2-ball net pocket. We call it the love pouch because typically when ladies play tennis, we tuck the tennis ball into our thigh. And first of all, it makes your thigh look wider. Second of all, that ball is sitting on your wet thigh and you're sweating, and I was kind of grossed out by that. The ball is touching the floor and bouncing up all the time where your shoes are. Now you're tucking it into your thigh, so you've got the dirt of the floor on your thigh. And then the last thing about it was that you can't tuck 2 balls in on your thigh. So when you're serving, you can only hold one of your balls, and then your partner has to hold 1 ball, and so that you can serve with the 3rd ball. Well, with my tennis dresses, you can actually keep both balls in the pouch, and then you're serving with the 3rd one. So your partner doesn't need to hold a ball for you. And then the final thing about the dress was I wanted something that was moisture wicking, was antibacterial, so that when I did sweat, the bacteria didn't multiply. Some natural fibers, when you sweat, they just multiply, and then you start smelling. And some of the outfits I was wearing, I was like, why do I smell? Did I eat something weird yesterday? And I realized it was the fabric. So the patterns didn't fit me because of my curvy body. The fabric was not light, compression-y, so it held me in a little bit so I didn't wobble. It started smelling. And then the last thing was the outfits were a little bit too sporty for me. I wanted something where I could go from the court straight for a drink afterwards, go from, court to cocktails, go, enjoy my match and not smell, and be able to go have a little cosmopolitan right after my match or a glass of wine before I had a shower and got changed and went to dinner. So it was the combo of these things that made me design myself a dress. I wasn't thinking, I'm going to open a store in Beverly Hills at the beginning, So the Monroe dress kind of encapsulated everything I wanted. And I can tell you, when I got rid of my old dresses and I put that dress on with my silky fabric that took 2 years to find. I needed something silky and soft. I needed something that held me so that I didn't wobble. And it was a sports fabric, was light, was luxe feeling, all of those things. I mean, that's how it was all born.